All right, we are so excited today to have the famous, or some might say infamous, Mel and Gerdy with us today on the VictoryXR podcast webinar interview. I'm Steve Grubbs, the founder of VictoryXR and your host today. And let me introduce to you Mel and Gerdy, who are former school teachers and who have become some of the best curriculum creators and curriculum product creators in the United States, and I don't know, maybe even internationally. So we're going to talk with them about how they became curriculum creators, and then also their foray into augmented reality and virtual reality with yours truly and the team at VictoryXR. So Mel and Gerdy, thank you. Mel, let's start with you since you are closest to me in this little Zoom bubble.
All right.
Tell me a little bit about your teaching background, and then we'll zip that same question over to Gerdy.
Okay. Wow, it's been a while since I've been in the classroom. I am a biology lover, have been my whole life. Grew up just kind of hanging out in the woods, hiking, camping, doing all kinds of things. And so I studied biology, went through just a general biology degree, went back to school, basically because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do in life. I kind of ran the gamut of jobs. I was a mechanic for a while, a record driver. I ran pizza shops. I did all kinds of stuff and wanted to do something a little more meaningful with my life. So I went back to school. I got a degree in biology education. And in my student teaching practicum, I met Gretchen, or Gerdy, as you like to call her. And kind of the rest is history. We forged our way through our classroom with just this crazy curriculum that nobody had seen before, and made everything our own. And here we are. It's been, I don't know, how long have we been doing this, Gretchen? 17 years total together. I think, I can't remember.
So, all right, Gerdy, same question over to you. Tell me about your teaching background.
I went to school for wildlife biology. I originally wanted to become a zoologist and change my career path because I enjoyed some of my wildlife biology classes. There was a small group of us that didn't know what to do with our degrees when we were all finished. And my professor told me to get into education. My sister was a 5th grade teacher for about 10 years. And she used to invite me into her classroom when we lived near each other, and I would teach her kids about scuba diving, and when I worked at the Raptor Center at Auburn. And I took those moments as something that was really fun. And my sister said, you know what, you really need to go into education. And so immediately following my bachelor's, I went in and got my master's in secondary education science and was certified to teach all sciences in Alabama. And then taught 1 year at a really difficult school, but it really enabled me to grow as a teacher, as a first-year teacher. And then took a year off while I was looking for work in Minnesota, and then got a chance to work at a really great middle school in Atlanta Public Schools. About 5 years into that, or 3 years into that, I got a student teacher, and that was Mel. And so we together were really able to kind of focus and hone in on our curriculum, which for me at that time was really anything that I could find because teachers were not working collaboratively together. So having Mel as a co-partner and a co-teacher at that time, I didn't consider her a student teacher so much as a co-teacher. We really just kind of honed in on some activities to do. And then Mel got a job at that same school, and we worked together for about 7 years. And about 3 or 4 years into our teaching together, we started getting nerdy and started selling our curriculum online. And we started focusing just on really taking our materials to a new level for teachers to use on their own without any extra direction from us. So it was really nice.
And what was the, so I think it's what, teachers, helping teachers, is that the platform that you're on?
Hey, teachers.
Teachers Pay Teachers. Got it. Is that teacherspayteachers.com?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And so they go, teachers, if they see this and they want to find some of your products to go on there, they type that in and search for Mel and Gerdy or Getting Nerdy, or either one.
I guess they could search for either one.
Okay. And what was the first product that you created that you put on there that just really took off and you said, what?
I'll let Gretchen tell you this story because it's kind of funny.
Okay. So I posted a product having forgotten that I did so. And it was a classification puzzle that Mel had created. And I posted it on the internet, posted on Teachers Pay Teachers, forgot about it for about 6 months. And then Mel's mother-in-law said, hey, you guys ever heard of the $1 Million Teacher that posts her lessons online? You guys should do this. And so we went onto the platform and I went, oh my gosh, I forgot. I made an account and I posted one of our products on there and it's free. Your first product on Teachers Pay Teachers always has to be free. And so we looked into some of the data and it had been downloaded like 5,000 times. And that was just a free product. So we were super excited by that idea. And then from there, we started posting our human body unit. And that was our very first unit that we revamped the puzzle. That was not that great. And then we put the human body unit up on the internet and things really just took off from there. We started with PowerPoints and handouts because that for us was that visual piece. And we really simplified our lessons, making them easy to disseminate the material to students and for teachers to elaborate where necessary, and had fill in the blank notes. And it just got, really started getting some traction and selling really well. And so we just took all of our lessons and used that same format.
Wow, that's awesome. And so eventually you moved to frogs.
We have always done frogs. We've always dissected frogs in the classroom and done different dissections. There was a paper, or not a paper model, but a model out there called the frog sandwich, which we kind of really liked that idea, but we wanted something that was a little more authentic and that, when students get in the classroom and in a dissection, they typically like poke around and they'll mutilate a specimen because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're looking for. The organs are very unfamiliar. And so we wanted to create something that we thought that students would really be able to understand before they went in with dissection. And so that was our first model, was the frog. And then after that was the earthworm. And then, and once we posted that, then people were like, wow, these are amazing and we want more. And so now we have, I believe, 17 different models that we create. So they're pretty cool.
That's great. And so I, of course, had seen, we have an education company, obviously. VictoryXR does education in virtual reality and augmented reality. And I had come to know of Mel and Gerdy online. I'd seen their products. They were well received. They were very popular. And so I happened into a dinner, an education dinner one night with our friends at Flynn Scientific. And I was introduced to Mel and Gerdy. And like any good fanboy, I fawned all over them. And next thing you know, we were working together. And what was our first product that we created together?
It was our AR card deck.
AR card deck. So first of all, describe to people what AR is. And second of all, what was involved in the card deck that we created with you?
Ooh. Do you want me to answer this, Gretchen, or do you want to go?
I'll go ahead and go. So virtual reality versus augmented reality. Virtual is more immersive, I guess you could say, because you're in a particular environment and moving around and interacting with pieces. Whereas the augmented allows you to use a simple device like a phone or your iPad to interact with playing cards or a workbook by using kind of like a reader on your phone, and can make images come to life, and you can manipulate them through your phone. So you won't necessarily see them in front of you like you would if you had a headset on for virtual reality. And this card deck is on cells and cellular biology. All of the artwork was done by Mel, and then was taken and turned into manipulatives by Victory. And they did a really great job of making our stuff look 3D and amazing. And yeah, so it's just a nice card deck that you can use for playing cards. It's like a matching game where you can match an organelle with its name and its function. And then you can also dig deeper, and we've got audio that's incorporated with it. One set of audio is for kind of a middle school setting, middle school elementary, and then we've got another set of audio that is a little more in-depth for high school students. And so it's just nice and differentiated. It's great for homeschool, great for in the classroom, and it really took off. We love them.
Let me see if I can share a video of that product with people.
Be awesome.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Look who that is.
Hi, I'm Mel. And I'm Gerdy. And we're getting nerdy. Welcome to our augmented reality.
That's my favorite part.
I love it.
Think about how light permeates through a window, but rain and bugs stay outside. The window is semi-permeable. So is the cell membrane. We like to think of the cell membrane Whip it. Whip it good. That's what a flagella does anyhow. Flagellates, or cells that have one or more flagella, have the ability to move their whip-like organelle.
Oh, so fun.
That is fun.
Yay.
That was fun. So, so creating our augmented reality product was great. And one of the things that, one of the things that I love about it is that it's just a standard deck of cards. My dad was a school teacher. Sometimes after school, down in the boiler room, he would play cards with other teachers. And so, so you can learn from these cards. You can hear Mel and Gerdy teach through these cards. And at the same time, you can just play cards if you want. So that's pretty cool. And we had so much fun working on that project that we then decided to take Mel and Gerdy and to make them virtual reality characters and create their own virtual reality experience. Mel, tell us a little bit about that.
So our virtual reality experience is basically, you have to have a headset to use it, just like Gretchen was talking about before. It's very immersive. And you are going into a gallery walk and walking through and seeing all the organelles that that are utilized in the AR deck. You're seeing those in a different format, in an immersive experience where you walk through and you can actually tour different wings of cells. So you can go see a prokaryotic cell, you can see all the organelles within there. You can go into the eukaryotic cell wing and see all the organelles that are associated with eukaryotic cells. And then you can learn a little bit about each one. There's a different audio experience with the VR experience. And then you can learn a little bit about how the organelles came to be with a fun little video that we created at the beginning, and a little bit about the cell theory. And yeah, it's a neat experience. You just walk right through and enjoy it. And then there's an assessment at the end. So it's basically like us teaching again all about cell organelles, the different types of cells, with an assessment that you can make sure that your students are understanding everything that they're seeing when they go through the experience.
Well, I wonder if I could show people that. See if I could pull off two at a time here. Let me try and share my screen one more time so people can get a taste of that. Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Mel. And I'm Gerdy. And we're Getting Nerdy. Do you ever wonder why cells are so small? It has to do with surface area. Cells have evolved to an ideal size that maximizes their volume to surface area ratio.
All organelles are pretty amazing, but there's something special about the mitochondria and chloroplast, the main organelles essential for powering the cell.
Plants and animals on Earth.
Bacteria have been around for more than 3.5 billion years. The first eukaryotes appeared approximately 1.5 billion years ago. This cell was minding its own business, making its own energy, when bam, it was engulfed by another, larger prokaryotic cell.
Which structures help cells move? A. Legs and arms.
There we go. So you have become virtual characters, and how was life in the virtual reality world?
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. With us.
It was about like that.
Talk to us a little bit about the value of learning in virtual reality or augmented reality. Obviously, you know, teachers have been teaching for hundreds of years, thousands of years. This is a relatively new technology. What is the value in trying this out or implementing it into a classroom?
I think, and I'll go first, and Mel, you can chime in. But I think it is such uncharted territory. We don't know quite how far this type of technology can go. It's because we talk about virtual reality being immersive. It's picking up a student and plopping them into a tropical rainforest, or allowing them to walk with dinosaurs and explore and really manipulate and become involved in an environment that they couldn't otherwise. It's taking kids that have never been on an airplane, that have never traveled or left their small city or large city and gone anywhere, and allowing them to take these virtual field trips at very little cost comparatively. And I think right now, with just kind of the state of the world in this pandemic, it's going to possibly just completely blow up and change how teachers teach. You know, it will allow more of that in-person instruction with, you know, without being truly in person, possibly, you know, students with headsets at home, or, you know, and teachers teaching from their homes as well, but still being able to gather as a class. There's so many different possibilities, and the technology is improving and changing, and VictoryXR is a part of that change, and really affecting, you know, how quickly the platforms are being used, and just, you know, you guys coming out with your new classroom is really something that no one's ever thought of. So I think it's just a really neat, uncharted territory that more people are going to get involved in as it becomes readily available, and it gains more traction.
Mel, what are your thoughts on integrating VR/AR into the classroom?
I think exactly what Gretchen said. You know, it's all about providing those experiences for kids that, you know, they wouldn't otherwise have, being able to go somewhere that they've never been, to be able to, you know, I think about ecology and being able to be immersed in a rainforest when you've never been in a rainforest before, and being able to interact with animals around you and things like that. You know, being able to go inside a cell when, you know, cells are so difficult to understand because they're so small. You know, being able to get inside that and see how they function, see the processes that are occurring. You know, that's a really neat aspect of VR. I don't think anything replaces hands-on, like being in person teaching at all. But I think that this is a great alternative for, as Gretchen mentioned, what's happening in the world right now. We can't be together. We can't be with our students. And this is a great opportunity to kind of meet in the middle with that.
Yeah, we like to think of it as a great supplement, whether students are learning remotely or whether they're learning in the classroom. So for example, let's say that your school does not have a Mandarin teacher or a German teacher, or let's say that your school doesn't have a particular AP class. A student can find this supplemental education through augmented reality or virtual reality. Now, the thing that I want to explain, to stop and explain real quick, is that we are transitioning from this world of individual simulator VR to a world of collaborative group VR. And so to help explain that, if you think in terms of a flight simulator, so none of us want to get on a flight where the pilot has not successfully completed their simulator training, right? We want them to have gone to class, done simulation training, and then actually flown a plane a few times. So in that instance, that's an individual simulator. The pilot gets into their virtual reality simulator and they fly and they land and do those sorts of things. So what we have moved to just this year in 2020 is collaborative group virtual reality, which means that a teacher and students can be in the classroom at the same time, and they can be teaching. And so I want to share my screen and just show an example of Wendy Martin, who is a national finalist teacher of the year. She is teaching anatomy, a science anatomy class. And you're going to see how it can be in some ways superior to an experience in the real class. And then we're going to talk about the future of this with Mel and Gerdy. All right. Wendy, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Steve. As he said, my name is Wendy Martin, and for the past 21 years, I've been teaching both high school and college level biology and anatomy. If everybody just comes a little closer, you can see in front of us, we have a human cadaver. The human body is made up of 11 systems. It has probably nearly 100 organs in it. We're just going to look at one of the organs today. You take your joystick and move it to the left or right, and you can increase or decrease the size of the heart. And one of the coolest things that we can do is not only give each student the ability to handle a human heart and to look at its form and function while I'm discussing it, but we can actually blow it up large enough. You might want to step away from another group, because you can blow this heart up so large that you can actually step inside of it. And that's what I want us to do. So it's bigger than you, and stick your head in it. And what I want you to see when you step inside of it is I want you to pay attention to the chambers. The two bottom chambers are the ventricles, and you can actually see these large finger-like muscles coming off of them. They help control the valves. The two upper chambers that you can see are the atria, and those are the receiving chambers. As you move the heart around, you can actually kind of stick your head into the vessels, and you can kind of see the direction the blood would be coming or going as it moved into a vessel. If you guys could see yourself right now, it looks very interesting to look out and see all of these bodies walking in and out of these life-size hearts. But what we wanted to show you is how amazing it is that we can offer this ability to give students this very unique opportunity to handle these body organs and to actually transport themselves into the organs, something that we obviously cannot do in a typical classroom setting.
Wendy, go ahead and take it away.
All right. So yeah, so that's our concept, is that we've built an entire campus, an auditorium, an astronomy center, a science lab, a paleontology center, and we're adding to that the Starship for additional astronomy viewing, and we're adding a theater, a performing arts center. So all of these different classes will be possible to teach inside virtual reality. A teacher has a headset on, and then students have a headset on. And in addition to that, we can record classes and save them for future endeavors by by teachers or students. So, what we're hoping to do is to create some learning opportunities with Mel and Gerdy and to create some lesson plans. What are your thoughts about, I know it's early and we haven't pulled it off yet, but what are your thoughts about teaching inside virtual reality, potentially with students from all over the world?
Super exciting. We have our headsets. We're ready to go. We just need to get moving.
It's time. Gerdy, what are your thoughts?
And it is time for us to, I think it's neat, and we're very thankful for the opportunity to be pioneers, with you. It's super exciting, the idea of being able to teach people that we don't know from across the world that speak different languages and have different backgrounds, and being able to connect and just really allow this platform to take off with others. I think it'll be really neat.
Yeah, I think so as well. We will, by the start of the school year, September 2020, we'll have Mel and Gerdy classes recorded and available on the platform as people begin to explore it. And some of the largest technology companies in the world are looking at what we're doing and are very interested. With that, we're not going to take a lot more time. Our 30 minutes is basically up, but let me wrap up by asking you one last question. The world is changing quickly, but science changes slowly. What are your thoughts as far as learning either in the classroom remotely? Where do you see learning science in 5 years? Let's start with Gerdy and then move to Mel, and then I'll take us out.
Learning science in 5 years.
Wow.
When I picture myself going back to the classroom, if I were to transport myself into a school and be a teacher again, I feel like I would pick up where I left off with Mel. Like I would still be doing my interactive notebooking and our mini labs, and because it's what we've created and our passion, obviously. But then I love the idea of being able to incorporate students using their phones daily with your workbooks and the AR cards, and being able to have a classroom set of headsets and venturing into places with the students, and allowing them those immersive experiences. So I think it's going to be a mishmash of what we've always done, because you just can't get away from the hands-on. And for us, you can't get away from paper. Like we're big believers in making little, students making their own science notebooks. I think there's something to be said about that, instead of everything in Google Classroom and Google Forms and things like that. So I see a little mix of both, but I think it's just so exciting that right now we can do these virtual experiences in groups. What does it mean for the next time? Is it going to mean that you don't need a headset and you can simply transport yourself someplace using some other form of technology with, holograms and whatever? It's really cool. We don't know, because it just changes so fast. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it takes us.
Awesome. Mel?
I don't know how to piggyback off of that. I mean, Gretchen pretty much said everything I was going to say. I don't think that there's any way to replace pen and paper and interactive notebooks and the hands-on experiences that you have in the classrooms. But I think that supplementing with the technology that we're all creating is a great piece to add in. I see it the exact same way that Gretchen does. It's a mishmash of everything that we're doing, and just kind of learning and growing as things change.
And if someone wants to find out more about Mel and Gerdy, what's your website?
GettingNerdyScience.com.
GettingNerdyScience.com. Okay, well that's wonderful. Or they can go to teacherspayteachers.com and find information about you as well.
Sure.
They can just Google Mel and Gerdy like I did. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. And we look forward to continuing our partnership, the VictoryXR Mel and Gerdy partnership. It's going to be exciting. And I really think that, my vision is that, most students have access to good teachers, but not all students. And through the hope of virtual reality, we can make the best teachers in America available to every student that needs a great teacher. And that's a promise that brings a level of equity in education that we've never seen before. So I'm excited about that.
So,
All right. Thank you. And we will talk to you very soon.
thanks, Steve. Thanks for having us.
Thank